Whenever something important came up between me and Ryan, his cute little junior, Emily, would somehow fall mysteriously ill. When we were supposed to meet the parents, she suddenly came down with gastroenteritis. On the day we were to get our marriage certificate, she fainted. The day before our wedding, her anxiety disorder flared up. Ryan unilaterally postponed the wedding, leaving me behind so he could take her abroad to relax. 4 months later, I sent a message in our friends group chat. "I'm getting married next month, hope you can all come." Ryan lashed out at me immediately. "You know she's emotionally unstable. Why would you deliberately provoke her? Delete the message." Right after I sent the message, Ryan called. He was the one who had unilaterally canceled the wedding and flown abroad with his junior Emily to help her recover and relax. This was the first time in 4 months that he had called me. His voice was deliberately lowered, like he didn't want to disturb someone. "Jessica, you know she's emotionally unstable. Why would you deliberately provoke her?" He paused for a moment, then added, sounding a bit impatient, "Take the message down. I never agreed to a wedding next month." I could picture his annoyed frown through the phone. "Didn't I already say on WeChat that the wedding would be held next spring?" His tone carried that same old authority that left no room for discussion. Back then, Ryan wasn't just my boyfriend, he was also my boss. Maybe he had gotten used to me doing whatever he said. "Jessica, are you listening?" I cleared my throat. "Oh, I was just counting the time. Sorry, the 2-minute window has passed. I can't delete it anymore." He drew a sharp breath. "Then send another message and say you were joking," I said with a hint of sarcasm. "Mr. Thomas, what are you talking about? Did she misunderstand something?" "Yes, I'm getting married, but she's not the bride." I gently reminded him. "Mr. Thomas, have you forgotten? We broke up 4 months ago. Now we're only connected by work. I can do without you, but I can't do without the money. Once I get my project bonus in a few days, I'll resign immediately." He didn't respond. I could hear him distracted on the other end of the line, comforting Emily. "You're awake? Did the phone call wake you? Don't walk barefoot, the floor's cold. Put your shoes on, be good." Ryan was never a gentle or attentive man, but Emily always made him act differently. Even 4 months ago, the day before the wedding, I had been full of joy, trying on my dress again. Ryan suddenly pushed the door open and came in, his face tense, brows furrowed. "Emily doesn't want me to get married. Her anxiety's acting up, and she's not doing well. Let's cancel the wedding for now." My mood dropped to rock bottom in an instant. Cancel the wedding? And then what? I heard the click of his lighter. "I'm taking her abroad for a while. We'll hold the wedding next spring." I asked numbly, "Don't you know how Emily feels about you?" He exhaled a puff of smoke and said, "She's like a little sister. I'll talk her through this while we're abroad. After all, she's my godmother's daughter. My mom was busy when I was a kid, and my godmother was the one who took care of me. So I hope you can understand." "I don't understand," I said sharply, anger rising. "If you're even willing to postpone our wedding for her, then we might as well break up." He ignored the crushing disappointment in my eyes and calmly said through the smoke, "Jessica, the wedding must be postponed." I didn't say anything. I just took off the wedding dress in front of him and with a pair of scissors shredded it to pieces. He stubbed out his cigarette and stood there with his hands in his pockets, silently watching me. "I think you need to calm down," he said. From that moment on, for the next 4 months, aside from necessary work-related communication, we barely had any personal contact. I was serious about breaking up. He, on the other hand, thought I was just throwing a tantrum that I'd cool off eventually. After Ryan finished soothing Emily, he returned to our call with casual indifference. "What were you saying just now?" I took a deep breath. "Ryan, we've already broken up." On the other end, his gentle voice came through again, directed elsewhere. "Emily, it's windy. Don't stand by the window." His patience, which was already running thin with me, was now being used on someone else. I hung up the call without saying another word. When he called back, I muted my phone and tossed it onto the sofa. What I didn't expect was that an hour later, I'd see a string of WeChat messages and 3 missed calls, all from another man overseas. His contact name in my phone, Clingy Guy. "Jessica, how about we go on a honeymoon abroad after the wedding?" Still not replying? That's kind of mean. Not picking up my call either? Now you're just being harsh. I've decided, I'm giving you the silent treatment starting today. Sure enough, for the next 10 minutes, there was nothing. But then more messages came. Okay, maybe you're just busy. It's fine, no need to do the silent treatment. That's not something a man should do anyway. Just leave me a period or something when you see this, okay? I almost burst out laughing. Who would believe that the guy everyone said was cold and sharp actually had such a childish side? Whatever irritation Ryan had stirred up earlier suddenly vanished. I sent him a period first, then another message. Okay, I'll go with whatever you plan. Then I suddenly remembered. I'd forgotten my passport in Ryan's closet when I moved out 4 months ago. The next day after work, I went to retrieve it. I hadn't expected the one who opened the door wouldn't be the housekeeper, Auntie Yang, but Ryan himself. They were back in the country. He looked at me, took a step forward like he wanted to hug me. I dodged. He didn't seem to care. Instead, he pulled out a bunch of things from his suitcase. Here, some gifts for you. Limited edition mug, a pink diamond ring, and this chubby little cat plush. He smiled as he tossed everything into my arms. Then came a sweet, chirpy voice from behind him. I helped Ryan pick out all the gifts. He's such a typical guy, no idea what girls like. Emily touched the matching pink diamond necklace around her neck, pouting. Ryan's so generous to you, Jessica. He gave you a big diamond ring, he only got me a tiny one. Emily stuck out her tongue playfully. I had no interest in watching their little show. I said flatly, if small is what you want, then wear the big one to feel cute. Then sip green tea from your limited edition mug while cuddling the fat cat plush. The whole world's yours. Ryan's expression tightened. Jessica Lynn, who are you lashing out at? Emily bit her lip, glancing down at the fluffy bunny slippers on her feet. Jessica, are you upset that I wore your slippers? Oh, I forgot to throw them out when you moved. Sorry. I gave a light smile. Not at all. If you enjoy wearing other people's worn-out shoes, be my guest. Emily's face went pale. Her eyes reddened. She grabbed her suitcase and turned to leave. Ryan, I think I should go. I'll just find a hotel nearby. I don't dare stay in your house anymore, Emily said. I don't want people calling me a green tea bitch who wears someone else's used shoes. My mom wouldn't want me being talked about like that either. At the mention of her mother, Ryan's eyes darkened. Although he was speaking to Emily, his eyes were fixed on me. Why are you leaving? This is my house. I can let whoever I want live here. Emily's going to be staying for a while. Do you have a problem with that? I almost laughed out loud. No problem at all, I said calmly. It has nothing to do with me. I turned around and headed upstairs, quickly found my passport, and came back down. Emily was watching me warily the whole time. I kindly told her there was no need to act so defensive. There's nothing left between us to fight over, including him. Then I turned and gave Auntie Yang a quick hug. She'd taken good care of me over the years. I'm leaving. I won't be back. Ryan looked at me, confused. Where are you going? His expression turned cold. Jessica Lynn, you're not a kid anymore. Are you seriously running away from home? I nearly laughed from how ridiculous that sounded. Who said I'm running away? Auntie Yang, who had stayed silent this whole time, couldn't hold it in any longer. Sir, Miss Jessica already moved out 4 months ago. Didn't you know? Before Ryan could say anything, Emily jumped in, scolding Auntie Yang sharply. You're just a housekeeper. Don't you think you're stepping way out of line? Are you trying to question your employers now? My boyfriend didn't know, because he had just gotten to the country when the car accident happened. He was in the hospital for a long time. She turned to me. Jessica, I'm not trying to judge, but completely ignoring your boyfriend like that, and just leaving? Don't you think that's a bit dramatic? I glanced at Ryan. Sure enough, there was a fresh scar on his forehead, and his face looked worn. So he'd been in a car accident. But what did that have to do with me? I smiled. Did you know we already broke up? On the day he decided to cancel our wedding and left me behind to take you abroad. Ryan's eyes flickered slightly, but he said nothing. Emily froze, trying to figure out if what I'd said was true. I didn't bother with either of them. I grabbed my passport and turned to leave. Just as I reached the door, I heard Auntie Yang's slightly anxious voice from behind me. Sir, Jessica really is leaving. Aren't you going to stop her? Ryan replied calmly, No need. She'll come back on her own in a few days. That was always how Ryan was. When it came to our relationship, he was always sure that I wouldn't be able to leave him. After all, I'd had a crush on him since middle school. The boy in white from Qing County had been the heartthrob of many girls' youth, including mine. It wasn't until college that our relationship finally blossomed. Everyone who knew us said Jessica Lynn would never leave Ryan Thomas. But truthfully, the idea of leaving had been planted in my heart a long time ago. Back when we were discussing wedding plans, his family was supposed to come to Enshi to meet mine. Ryan said his father couldn't make it. He was in a care facility. My grandmother said that was fine, as long as Ryan came. She was so cheerful, bustling around the house all day, cleaning every corner like it was Chinese New Year. She even cooked a whole table full of food and bathed the family dog with fragrant dates, worried that the two of us alone wouldn't make a good impression. She invited some friendly neighbors to come sit in as well, filling the table. Then I got a message from Ryan. Something had come up, and he'd be late. I knew he was always punctual. If he was running late, it had to be serious. I waited from 11:30 to 3:30. The food had gone completely cold. He still didn't show up. Only after the neighbors had left did my grandmother finally drop the smile she had been forcing all day. "Sweetheart, is it that he doesn't want to marry you anymore?" Just as she said that, Ryan showed up in a rush. He said softly, "Sorry, I just came from the hospital." I thought it was something about his father, so I didn't ask any further. The next day, while scrolling through my phone, I saw that Emily had posted a WeChat moment at the exact same time yesterday. Stomach pain from gastritis. Good thing someone was there with me. In the photo, the side profile clearly belonged to Ryan, sitting in the driver's seat. The next day, I confronted him. Ryan sat there flipping through a magazine, totally indifferent. "Emily's family is overseas. If I don't take care of her, who will?" He ruffled the top of my head. "She's only 22. She's young, sure. She gets a little moody sometimes, but she means well. Just give her a little grace." "But my grandma spent all day yesterday preparing everything, so happy and excited," I started to say. He cut me off. "It was just a dinner. We can eat any day. Why make a big deal out of it?" Dinner? Talking about marriage with the elders was just a simple meal? Seeing the look on my face, Ryan finally softened his tone a little. "At most, another 6 months. When my godmother returns, I won't be responsible for Emily anymore. Okay?" I had once naively believed that Emily only relied on Ryan the way a little sister might cling to an older brother. Ryan had always been disciplined, especially when it came to relationships. He was cautious, careful. But on the day we were supposed to get our marriage certificate, just as we stepped into the Civil Affairs Bureau, Ryan suddenly pulled me back. His face was grim. "Emily fainted at school. She's on the way to the hospital." We went to the hospital together. The doctor said it was only heat stroke, nothing serious, she just needed to rest at home. Right in front of me, Ryan carried her limp body into the car, then into his apartment. When I tucked her in, I noticed a man's shirt tangled in the bedding. It was crumpled, like it had been slept on for quite some time. My fingertips froze. If I wasn't mistaken, that shirt looked exactly like the one Ryan had claimed mysteriously went missing from home. Clearly his feelings for her weren't as brotherly as he claimed. That night marked the biggest fight Ryan and I ever had. He said her dress had torn, and he'd used the spare shirt in the car to cover her. That was all. His voice was calm, his gaze cold. "Jessica, are you seriously starting a fight in the middle of the night over a shirt? Do you have anxiety issues or something?" I was hurt and furious. This isn't about a shirt, it's about how we interact, about how a third person is suddenly in the middle of us. But all he said was, "Jessica, just because you lacked affection growing up, doesn't mean you get to be this possessive." Then he rolled over and went to sleep. His breathing turned slow and even, completely peaceful, while I lay there, sleepless all night. Later on, I finally understood. The real issue between us was that he never cared about how I felt. What I took seriously, he always brushed off. What I saw as something important, he thought was no big deal. That was the first time I truly wanted to walk away. The next day, a neighbor told me my grandmother had suddenly fallen ill. Without hesitation, Ryan dropped everything, an important meeting, and rushed with me to Enshi. Grandma was old-fashioned and sentimental. She absolutely refused to move in with me. She said my parents were gone, and she had to stay behind to guard the house in their place. Now she was sick, and I couldn't even be there to take care of her. Ryan held my hand. Grandma's going to be fine. Don't worry. He stayed with us the whole time, helping me register her at the hospital, see the doctor, get prescriptions. On the way back, he gently squeezed my fingers and smiled. Let's get married. Once we're married, we'll convince Grandma to come live with us. Maybe it was that one warm moment that made me nod and say yes. But thinking back now, girls really shouldn't be so easily moved. If I imagined it differently, if Ryan hadn't been there, would I have been incapable of doing it all myself? Still, I have to admit, Emily did do one good thing. Stopping us from getting that marriage certificate that day was the right move. Otherwise, I'd already be divorced by now. The next day, just as I stepped into the office, my phone buzzed with a WeChat message. Clingy guy, just got off the plane. I really want to see you. What should I do? I quickly replied, Excuse me, sir, some of us have to work. That night, Clingy guy sent a sad little sticker that looked pitiful and teary-eyed. I couldn't help but smile. A colleague whispered, Jessica, you're seriously smiling right now? You're about to lose your job. Didn't you hear? Mr. Thomas just let his little junior Emily take over your lead planner role. Emily. I had worked my way up from being just a small assistant by Ryan's side to becoming the lead planner for this project through sheer effort and ability. If this had happened in the past, I probably would have been so upset I'd cry. After all, who likes to be replaced by someone who parachuted in thanks to personal connections? But luckily, I was about to resign anyway, so I didn't care anymore. Some of my coworkers looked genuinely regretful on my behalf. One of the assistant managers even tried to speak up for me, saying, Emily's just a fresh graduate. Jessica already has years of project experience. But Ryan's reply? So what if she has more experience? Emily graduated from an international art academy. That's a different level. He was doing it on purpose. He was still upset and just wanted to get under my skin. Anyway, my colleague Juan said cheerfully, There is good news. You've heard of Liam Reed, right? I nodded. The breakout star of the tech world. Self-made, rose from a modest background. One of those TOT-level legends. Ryan used to mention Liam back in college with admiration in his eyes. I remembered him saying, Liam's not like me. I've got financial backing from my family if I fall. He built everything from the ground up. He's something else. I smiled. What's that got to do with me? My coworker was excited. If we win the bid for Liam Reed's proposal project, not only will the bonus be huge, but your resume will be gold-plated. Now I was interested. What project is it? His proposal ceremony at the end of this month. I froze. Proposal? He's getting married next month, she explained. The wedding planning's already been handed off to a top-tier team, but he thought his proposal was too rushed, so he wants to make up for it with a more meaningful ceremony. She shrugged. Look, we don't need to understand the world of billionaires. We just need to know one thing. It pays well. Fair enough. In the meeting room, Emily was playing the charming junior, ordering bubble tea for everyone. Mr. Reed, you're so young, you must trendy things, right? Jessica was just saying earlier that we should serve tea. I almost died laughing. Tea is for my dad's generation. Liam Reed, the big boss everyone had been talking about, sat back in his chair, lips pressed together. His forehead was smooth, his eyes deep-set, his features sharp. There was a distant, indifferent aura to him that made him hard to read. He didn't respond to Emily. Instead, he glanced at me and said simply, A cup of pu'er, please. Thanks. Emily looked slightly embarrassed. She pouted, clearly annoyed at being shut down. Ryan chuckled. No worries, I'll drink the bubble tea. Desperate to recover in front of the company's executives, Emily threw herself into her pitch. Honestly, her plan had some merit, decent structure, creative touches, but Liam gave her no slack. Too idealistic. Do you have anything else? My coworkers nudged me forward. Jessica has a solid proposal. Liam nodded. Ryan didn't object either. So reluctantly, I stepped up and pitched mine. Liam listened quietly to the end, then dismissed it just as bluntly. Too simplistic. Not suitable. Emily visibly relaxed beside me, but I wasn't ready to let it go. Mr. Reed, with all due respect, you don't necessarily speak for your fiancé's preferences. I think she might actually like this." Ryan gave me a strange, unreadable look. Then, unexpectedly, Liam laughed. He wasn't someone who smiled often, and when he did, it threw off the entire room. No one could tell if he was pleased, or just being ironic. "I'm the one proposing, not her. If she already knows everything, then where's the surprise?" He turned away from me, clearly ending the conversation. Leaning back in his chair, he added, "Time is tight, but I don't want to be sloppy about this. Mr. Thomas, can you take the lead on this one personally?" So that was it. The real target wasn't the proposal. Ryan paused for a second, then said to Liam, "To be honest, Mr. Reed, my girlfriend and I are also planning a wedding soon." As he spoke, he glanced at me meaningfully. Both Emily and I were momentarily stunned. Liam slowly turned to look at him. "Oh, is that so?" Ryan replied politely, "Yes, but don't worry, Mr. Reed. I'll still make time to ensure everything for your proposal goes smoothly. By the way, Mr. Reed," he added, "who's the lucky lady? Whether it's an engagement or a wedding ceremony, it's standard for us to collect details about the bride." Liam gave a faint smile. He was known for being low profile. "It's not convenient to disclose that right now." "Whatever the boss says, goes." Ryan simply nodded and smiled without pressing. When Liam heard Ryan agree to personally handle the proposal planning, he seemed quite satisfied. He stood and said he'd head to the restroom. "You can go over the details with my assistant. Budget isn't an issue." A minute later, my phone lit up. "Clingy guy, I'm in your building's hallway. Come out if you can." "Me, can't. In a meeting." "Then I'll come in and find you." With no other choice, I made up an excuse and slipped out of the meeting room. Just as I pushed open the hallway door, a tall figure pulled me straight into a warm embrace. He looked completely different from the aloof man in the conference room. His eyes were soft, even a little misty, and there was a faint smile tugging at his lips. "You look upset," he said gently. I nodded. "Yeah, you rejected my proposal plan. Otherwise, I could have earned a bigger bonus before I quit." He chuckled. "You little money grubber. Is it what's mine also yours? Why do you care about such small change?" I wrinkled my nose. "It's not about big or small. I just like earning every cent I work hard for." Then something struck me. "Wait, did you ask him to design your proposal on purpose?" He lowered his head and gently kissed my cheek. "So what if I did?" he murmured. Then in a softer voice, he added, "He owes you a wedding. Maybe this is a good way to settle that." I froze. So he knew everything about Ryan and me. 4 months ago, I had run into Liam at what was supposed to be my wedding venue with Ryan. Getting married was supposed to be something between Ryan and me, but planning the wedding had been my own project. That evening, bathed in the soft glow of sunset, I watched workers slowly take down the flower arch on the lawn. My chest felt tight and sour. Once upon a time, there was a boy who sat in front of me in class because he had good grades. His hair was always neatly trimmed, his profile sharp and clean. He was the one who first opened the door to my heart. I hadn't known then that liking someone could become such a powerful force. 2 years later, I got into the same high school as him. By some miracle, we were even in the same class again. But I never dared confess. I didn't think I was worthy. I was the girl raised by a grandmother who collected trash to support me. A plain face from a poor background. No matter how many times I showered, I always felt like I carried the lingering scent of the garbage I'd grown up around. I remember once watching a movie when I was older. Everyone was laughing, but tears silently streamed down my face. What echoed in my mind wasn't the plot. It was the memory of foggy Monday mornings, old men lining up to scavenge through waste. The sound of a whistle blowing as little Jessica Lynn darted into the garbage heap, worn shoes and torn socks flying everywhere. I'm not exaggerating. When I was in elementary school, my eyes would literally light up at the sight of an empty plastic water bottle. That was money to me. That was my life, just me and my grandma, scraping by. She collected bottles and cardboard, saved every penny just to send me to school. I never had the courage to confess to anyone. During the years when other girls were discovering beauty and self-confidence, even my underwear came from the bargain bin in some underground market, cheap, loose, and sagging after a few washes. Thank goodness the school uniforms were oversized. They helped hide the shame I carried inside. Sometimes when I looked down at the shoes Ryan wore, I couldn't help secretly gritting my teeth. So rich, I thought. Just one pair of his shoes could buy me hundreds of pairs of underwear. But then, that time when I had the flu and missed 2 days of school, Grandma had gone out to collect cardboard. The door suddenly knocked. Dizzy with fever, I opened it and froze. There he was. The boy from Qing County. Like a beam of sunlight piercing the dark, dusty room I had lived in for years. He stood with the light behind him and said, "I brought you medicine for the flu. Want to take it?" That day I was uneasy. And it wasn't just me. The cockroaches scrambling across the floor were just as unsettled. The walls were stacked high with bags filled with colorful plastic bottles Grandma had collected. Below them were piles of flattened cardboard, the perfect hiding place for roaches. That was my life. My home, overflowing with trash, and we survived on it. But he didn't flinch. Calmly, he picked up the kettle on the table, rinsed a cup, poured half a cup of warm water, and handed it to me. "Take the medicine. You're burning up." But I wasn't flushed from fever. My whole face was red with shame. I muttered a thanks awkwardly. "Thank you for coming with the class rep and checking on me." He smiled faintly. "I came by myself." Then he added, "Jessica Lynn, wanna trying to the same college as me?" I stared at him, confused, my heart pounding. "After the college entrance exam, will you be my girlfriend?" I had always thought Ryan and I would get married, have kids and grow old together. Until that day, standing alone at the wedding I had planned myself, and he wasn't there. That was when I knew it was over. That day, I let myself go, hugged the bouquet, and cried like a wreck. At my ugliest moment, Liam Reed showed up. At first, I thought he was just another hotel guest. "Did the groom run away?" he asked. I shook my head. "No, I'm not crying over him. I'm mourning my youth. I gave the best of myself to him. I supported him through years of building his business, and in the end, our wedding wasn't even worth one word from his junior. My grandma got so angry she ended up hospitalized, and I have no idea how to comfort her. Why? Why do I have to go through this?" I wasn't the kind of person who spilled personal matters to strangers, but for some reason, facing this unfamiliar man, the words just tumbled out like beans from a bag. And he didn't seem bothered at all. Then he said, "How about this? We make a deal. I'll help you calm your grandma, and you help me calm my grandpa." I let out a hoarse laugh. "Calm how?" "My grandpa wants to see me settle down before he dies." My contact lenses had fallen out from all the crying, so I couldn't see him clearly. "Who do you think you are, Liam Reed or something? Grandpa wants a wedding, loyal grandson goes along." Because I'd seen online articles before. Liam Reed, famously devoted to his grandfather, but refused to marry just because the old man wanted him to. "You guessed right, I'm Liam Reed," he said. I didn't believe him. Quietly looked him up on Baidu. Oh my God, he really was Liam Reed. What's wrong with this guy? Was he messing with me? A powerful tech CEO pretending to need a fake girlfriend? Seriously? Or is he one of those weird ones? Maybe my expression gave too much away, because he read it easily. "There's nothing wrong with me. I just haven't found the right one. I'm physically and mentally healthy. You don't have to worry. It's just a mutual favor. If you're not comfortable, you can back out anytime." He said it so sincerely that I almost had to believe him. And that's how the second man I brought home was Liam Reed. Since he was only pretending to be my boyfriend, I didn't care what he thought of my family. Grandma hadn't agreed to move in with me yet. She'd only let me take a short break. There were still stacks of flattened cardboard scattered across the yard, left in chaos. She lay sick and exhausted on her bed. The moment she saw me, she started wiping her eyes. "How did things go so wrong so fast? How could you just not get married?" Grandma sighed. "Our Jessica is such a good girl. How could no one want her?" She blamed herself like she always did. "It's all my fault. I'm useless. Picking through trash made people look down on us." Grandma always had this habit, blaming herself for everything. "Grandma, don't worry," I told her, smiling. "Your Jessica has plenty of people who want her." I pointed at my bargain bin boyfriend, Liam. "Grandma, what do you think of my new boyfriend?" We both looked over and were completely stunned. There he was, this tall man bending over, picking up the flattened cardboard boxes scattered on the ground. With swift, practiced movements, he stepped on each one with his gleaming, high-end leather shoes to press them flat, folded them neatly, tied them into bundles with rope, and stacked them in the corner. Then, as if it were nothing, he even sorted Grandma's bottles and cans into order. The whole scene felt oddly surreal, but real. For a moment, I wondered if Liam Reed had once collected trash too. He washed his hands, wiped down the countertop until it was dry, and then respectfully stood before Grandma. "Hello, Grandma. My name is Liam Reed. I'm Jessica's new boyfriend." He smiled gently. "When I was a kid, my grandpa also collected recyclables. I think that makes Jessica and me a good match, better than her ex at least." Honestly, the whole day felt like a dream. Grandma, who had looked so weak and frail just minutes before, suddenly acted like she'd taken a miracle cure. She perked up, cooked in the kitchen, and chatted non-stop with Liam. Liam looked the same as always, handsome and calm, but there was something more relaxed about his expression. He rolled up his sleeves and added wood to the old stove, like it was nothing. At the dinner table, Grandma asked questions. Liam answered every one of them without hesitation. "Has Jessica had a boyfriend before?" she asked. "No," he said. "But I know Jessica had one before me. I don't mind." He picked up a piece of eggplant and placed it in my bowl. "Grandma said you love eggplant," then he smiled. "I don't mind. Her experience just means she can teach me." I nearly choked on that piece of eggplant. That meal was the happiest I'd seen Grandma in ages. She seemed completely cured. On the way home, I couldn't stop complimenting him. "You're amazing. Seriously, you act like the perfect boyfriend. That performance was Oscar-worthy." He raised an eyebrow but didn't respond. Then, at a red light, he looked over and asked, "Can we go to my house now? My grandpa's waiting." At first, I thought it was just a one-time weekend favor, but little by little, something started to feel off. "Hey, we're not actually dating," I said one evening. "You don't need to pick me up from work every day." He casually turned the steering wheel. "My grandpa checks in with video calls. He brought me beautiful flowers, took me to overpriced riverside restaurants, sent good morning, afternoon, and evening messages on WeChat every single day. Grandpa's retired," he said. "Too much free time. He keeps tabs." In no time at all, he had quietly slipped into my life. And when I finally tried to pull back, he looked at me with a gaze that was unexpectedly fragile. "You think this is just pretend," he said softly. "But I've developed real feelings. What am I supposed to do?" He stepped into my tiny living room while he spoke. "Jessica Lynn, I'm decent looking. I've got plenty of money, and most importantly, I don't have some clingy junior girl hanging off me. Why not give me a chance?" I hesitated. "I just got out of a relationship." He smiled faintly. "Is it a crime to fall for someone new quickly after a breakup?" He took another step closer, tempting me like a devil in disguise. "Try it. If you don't like it, you can stop anytime." And just like that, I was bewitched. Like a dream, I ended up with a boyfriend who was a total catch. Even saying yes to getting the marriage license with him felt like falling into a trap, but a strangely warm one. One weekend morning, sunlight streamed softly into my little house. Liam walked toward me through the golden glow, wearing only gray lounge pants, his bare chest showing defined abs and a relaxed smile on his face. He looked me in the eyes, and suddenly his tone turned teasing. "So what you're saying is, so in your mind, this was just dating? You never planned to marry me?" I sat up, sipping the warm water he handed me. "We've only been together for a month, haven't we?" Liam looked at me quietly. "And after 1 month you slept with me. Shouldn't I take responsibility?" "Wait, wasn't he the one who seduced me last night, that sly fox?" "Jessica Lynn," he said seriously, "I'm a very traditional man. You can't treat me this way. I have dignity." What did I do? I was genuinely thrown. That day, he completely turned the tables on me, accusing me, sentence by sentence, of playing with his feelings. "Then what do you want, Liam?" "Let's get married," he said firmly. "I don't believe in being with someone without a title. It doesn't align with my values." He pulled out a folder of documents. "Marry me. If one day you don't love me anymore, we can divorce at any time. All these assets will be yours." I glanced at the last page. So many zeros, it made my head spin. For a moment, I was genuinely excited, but then I remembered when this whole mutual help arrangement started, he'd also said I could stop anytime. Yet somehow, I ended up in a relationship I couldn't walk away from. He didn't boil the frog slowly, he threw me straight in and slammed the lid shut. "Liam Reed, don't tell me you're after my organs or something," I said suspiciously. You're gonna take me to some tiny Southeast Asian country and sell my kidneys or heart, aren't you? He froze for a second, then sighed. Jessica, haven't you figured it out by now? Can I just marry you because I like you? Still, I had to ask just to be sure. So you're really not into my kidneys? His response was to shut me up with a kiss. I like your heart more. I couldn't help but shiver. In the hallway afterward, Liam pinched my cheek lightly. He owes you a wedding, he said. I wanted him to witness me giving it back to you. But if he found out too early, he might ruin it, and I can't let that happen. So let's have a proposal ceremony. Let him watch as I get down on one knee. I sighed. Liam, do you think this is all a little childish? He raised an eyebrow. Didn't you once tell me that every man remains a boy deep down? I had to admit, part of me did think it'd be pretty satisfying to let Ryan watch me get proposed to. Looks like Liam's bad influence was rubbing off on me. I quickly pushed him away. All right, go back in before people start asking questions. We're legally together, why are we sneaking around like we're having an affair? He grinned. Isn't that what makes it fun? His eyes gleamed. He lowered his head, whispering, then let's do something even more exciting. Suddenly, the hallway door burst open. What are you two doing? The sharp voice belonged to Emily. Behind her stood Ryan, expression dark, eyes unreadable as he stared straight at me. Liam didn't flinch. He calmly adjusted his clothes. I got lost, just asking for directions. No one believed that, not even ghosts. But he delivered it with such poise and seriousness that it almost sounded believable. After Liam walked off, Emily smirked. I knew something was going on. The moment Mr. Reed left the conference room, Jessica said she needed to grab something from the office. Jessica, don't you think this kind of behavior is a little indecent? Right then, my phone buzzed. Bonus paid early. Funds received. I couldn't help but laugh. Emily blinked. What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? No, Emily, you're the crazy one. What, do you live on the beach or something? Why are you so obsessed with other people's business? Ryan finally spoke. Emily, go back inside. She shot me one last glare before turning and walking off. Now it was just Ryan and me. His eyes were cold as he grabbed my wrist tightly. Jessica Lynn, as my girlfriend, don't you think you should be keeping your distance from other men? I laughed in disbelief. Girlfriend? Since when? And even if I were, how about you keeping your distance from Emily? He frowned. Emily and I are not the same situation. Jessica, he snapped. Liam Reed is getting married next month. What's going through your head? A man like that? The kind of woman he marries will be rich, powerful, or both. Even if you manage to cling to him, you'll always be in the shadows. Are you seriously throwing yourself away like this, becoming the other woman? Ryan, I said coldly, how many times do I have to say it? We already broke up. Don't you understand plain English? As always, he completely ignored everything I said. Jessica, what makes you think Liam Reed would ever marry you? He asked. He let go of my wrist and let out a cold, condescending laugh. Liam Reed is not me. Why would he marry a girl who grew up collecting trash? In that moment, I felt my blood run cold. Setting aside everything else, maybe he did genuinely like me at one point, but deep down I had always been beneath him in his eyes. Was this why he never truly respected me? I gave him a sharp smile. Thank you, Ryan, for not marrying me, truly. I turned to leave. His voice called out softly behind me. Jessica, let's go ahead and schedule the wedding for next month. Stop being difficult, okay? You know how busy I am. You can handle the venue decorations. I shoved open the emergency exit door. Emily stood there biting her lip, glaring at me like I was some sort of monster. Here to cause more trouble again? Sure enough, just after I submitted my resignation form at HR, I came back to find her sitting smugly on the sofa in Ryan's office, lips suspiciously red. A colleague whispered to me, that princess of his ate your cake and had an allergic reaction. She's saying you did it on purpose. It was just a simple tea break I'd ordered for everyone, fruit and cream cake since I was leaving soon. Ryan stared at me, his expression cold. You're always so careful. How could you forget Emily's allergic to mango? She's taking over your role. That was my decision. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Emily dabbed at her tears while looking into a compact mirror. I have a class reunion tonight. How can I show my face now? She sniffled and turned to me. Jessica, you're mad I caught you messing around with another man, so now you're taking it out on me. right? I rolled my eyes internally. Let me ask you, did I even offer you any cake? No. You got greedy, helped yourself, and now it's my fault? The moment she mentioned another man, Ryan's eyes dimmed. Jessica, he said coldly, I don't think you're in a good mental state to work right now. You should take a leave. I gave a soft laugh. You're right, I'm not coming back tomorrow. Ryan, clearly not used to being challenged, snapped. Then don't come back at all. Go to HR and complete your exit paperwork. In the past, just hearing that tone from him would have made me give in, go soft, try to calm him down. I used to be that pathetically small, because I thought he was family. Someone to love, to endure for. Grandma always said, family means tolerance, understanding, compromise. But Ryan, he'd only ever treated Emily like family. Or maybe something more. Who knew? I smiled faintly. Sure. He clearly didn't expect that. He immediately called the HR manager to confirm. The manager rushed in, adjusted his glasses nervously, and said, Mr. Thomas, Jessica already submitted her resignation form this afternoon. Ryan's pupils contracted. What do you mean? The manager glanced at me, then answered honestly. She said she's resigning because she's getting married. Her wedding's next month. Emily dug her nails into the leather armrest of the sofa in frustration. Ryan's face shifted. Oh, so that's why. Then he said casually, move back in tonight. We'll review the guest list for the wedding together. Oh, and Emily's been staying in your old room. You'll need to pick a different one. He seriously thought I was marrying him. What the hell was going on in that head of his? Of course I wasn't moving back in. At that moment, a message popped up on my phone from Ryan, no less. Jessica, don't test my patience. If you make me cancel one more wedding, even if you beg me, I won't say yes. There was no way I was ever going to marry Ryan. That chapter was over. He didn't contact me again after that. Ryan had always been like this, too proud, too used to having the upper hand. Every time we argued, it was always me who gave in first and tried to make peace. If I hadn't started dating Liam Reed, I would have never known that a girl could be cherished like this. Liam, don't do that, I'm not used to it. His long fingers dipped into the warm water, gently rubbing my toes. Why not? What's wrong with giving my wife a foot massage? He asked. My grandpa used to do this for my grandma when they were young. Now be good, drink some brown sugar water, your cramps will go away soon. I sat silently, watching his calm, handsome profile. Liam, did I save your life or something? Is that why you're so irrationally in love with me? He looked up and smiled. I realized he smiled more when he was with me than with anyone else. Actually, yeah. You did save my life. He said we'd met a long time ago, back when we were little. He was helping his grandfather collect bottles, and I was helping my grandma do the same. One sweltering summer afternoon, we were like two scavenging animals, both staring at the same man, chugging water from a bottle. The moment he tossed it toward the trash can, we both bolted. That skinny boy, Liam, tripped and scraped his knee on a stone. It started bleeding. I'd paused in surprise and said, Don't rush, I'll let you have it. I'll give it to you. You were that boy? I gasped. All it took was one empty bottle and you were in love with me? You were way too mature for your age, I teased. He laughed again. Not quite that twisted. But I remembered you. The girl with the red birthmark at the corner of her eye. Then Liam brought up the second time we met. People think my success was smooth sailing, but it wasn't. I failed once. I invested everything my grandpa had saved his whole life, and then he was diagnosed with cancer. I begged every relative I had. Eventually, people started slamming doors in my face. He paused. That New Year's Eve, when I should have been filled with hope, I wandered the riverside like a wet dog. I stood there, staring at the rushing water, thinking, if Grandpa goes, maybe I should too. Suddenly I remembered. It was him. That down-and-out young man with the scruffy beard and sunken cheeks, completely unrecognizable from the Liam Reed I knew now. So all it took for you to fall for me was when I asked you to take a few pictures of me. I asked, stunned. He lowered his eyes and chuckled. But do you remember? You kept stepping farther and farther away to get a good shot. You ended up nearly a kilometer from the river. And I noticed you barely had any selfies in your phone. That told me you're not the kind of girl who likes to show off. I blinked. He really was smart. That's how I knew you were kind. You were the one bright spot in the darkest, poorest moment of my life. He smiled, his voice softening. I even bought you a bowl of noodles that night to thank you. That was the best bowl of noodles I've ever had. A sweet girl sitting across from me with steam rising from her bowl, saying, "If you're full, everything will be okay." I smiled, nodding. Yeah. Everything feels manageable once you've eaten. He gently dried my feet, then pulled me into his arms. As I lay against his broad chest, he told me the rest of his story. How he'd swallowed his pride and borrowed money from professors and classmates. How once he succeeded, he paid every cent back, double or even triple. And how, miraculously, his grandfather's health had stabilized. The doctor said if he managed the cancer carefully, he could live for many more years. I turned to him. Then why didn't you come find me? You still owe me a bowl of noodles. I did, he said. I visited your school under the pretense of making a donation, but I only watched you from afar. Unfortunately, you were holding Ryan's arm that day. He smiled wistfully. Then, I saw you again on that hotel lawn dismantling the wedding you planned. Jessica, my heart was racing that day. My moment had finally arrived. I scrunched my nose. So all of this, it was your setup from the very beginning, wasn't it? Liam lowered his head and kissed my cheek. Do you like me? I'll tell you in a few days. On the day of the proposal, I was resting in the lounge when suddenly the door was shoved open forcefully. I was a little startled. This character showed up earlier than expected. Ryan stood there, staring at me in disbelief. Liam Reed is proposing. To you? His assistant must be joking, right? I tilted my head toward him. You saw it with your own eyes, didn't you? This lounge was prepared for the future Mrs. Reed. Ryan's face turned ashen. How dare you? After everything we've been through, you've only known him for a few months. Ryan, I said calmly, whether people end up together has nothing to do with how long they've known each other. He grabbed my wrist. You really want a marriage without love? I know why he wants to marry you, but he can't possibly love you. And you don't love him either. You're just doing this to get back at me, aren't you? I gave him a cold glance. Ryan, where do you get this confidence from? Who told you were that important? I shook off his hand. His face went pale. So, when you said you were getting married next month, you didn't mean us. You meant you and Liam? I smiled. Yes, from the moment I sent that message in the group chat, nothing I said had anything to do with you. He froze. The corners of his eyes flushed red. So this is really over. You really broke up with me, but why? Was I really that bad to you? Just then, a deep voice came from the doorway. Liam leaned casually against the frame in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. Because you didn't know your boundaries. You didn't cherish her. You never cared how she felt. He stepped past Ryan and took my hand, turning back with a calm smile. Thank you for running away from the wedding, and for designing the proposal scene yourself. I really liked it. As we walked out of the lounge, I heard the crash of a table flipping behind us. Whatever fury Ryan was drowning in had nothing to do with me anymore. What mattered now was the ocean of flowers and the unbelievably handsome man on one knee before me. Will you marry me? I leaned down close to his ear. You asked me before if I liked you, even if you planned everything. I was willing to walk into the trap. Liam Reed, I like you. His eyes sparkled with emotion. Then why are you just standing there, making me kneel like a fool? Put the ring on me. At once, my Princess Jessica. After the proposal ceremony ended, I had just stepped toward the car when Ryan came running up. Jessica, give me one more chance, he pleaded. Emily, she's leaving tomorrow. I've already arranged for her to be sent abroad. She won't come back. Beside him, Emily was being pulled back by Ryan's assistant, her eyes bloodshot and voice hoarse as she shouted, You can't do this to me. How could you face my mother after this? Ryan ignored her completely, his eyes locked desperately on me. Jessica, please, come back. Liam, calm as ever, pulled out a little red booklet and waved it slightly. Too late. Where were you when it mattered? We already registered our marriage. This damn man actually carries around the marriage certificate. I couldn't help but smile. Ryan, we were supposed to get our certificate too, remember? But Emily fainted that day. You chose to take care of her, so we never did it. Ryan's lips twitched, his eyes were filled with red, but not a single word came out. Since then, I never saw him again. Not until Liam and I returned from our honeymoon. That's when Ryan's assistant called me. Miss Lynn, Something happened to Mr. Carter. He's in the hospital. Stomach bleeding from drinking. He said he wanted to drink the yam porridge you used to make. I didn't respond. The assistant sighed softly. I know Miss Lynn probably doesn't cook anymore, and it's not convenient, but would you please go see Mr. Carter? Just once. It's not convenient, I replied calmly. I'm married now. I have boundaries. If he wants porridge, he can ask Auntie Yang to make it for him. And with that, I hung up. If that clingy man of mine heard this call, he'd get jealous, and he'd definitely make me pay for it at some point. The thought of how sore my lower back still was made me shiver. But apparently, he had already heard. I'm not letting Auntie Yang make it for him. I chuckled. Auntie Yang is Ryan's housekeeper. Since when does she take orders from you? Just then, Auntie Yang came out of the kitchen, smiling. Xiaoju, you're back. Dinner's ready. I froze in place for a moment. Liam curled his lips into a satisfied smile. I was happy to hire Auntie Yang to come work in our home. Do you like it? I jumped up and threw myself into his arms. Like it? I love it. I love it to death. Hubby, his eyes sparkled with joy as he laughed. Say it more often then. Say it for a lifetime. You're so annoying, I grinned.